Good afternoon, everybody. It's Lorraine Alternative Homesteading on Saturday, April 5, 2025. And I've been doing a little research over the last couple of days, and some of it is actually deeply disturbing. I've gone on to academia and Google Scholar, and the only documents that I've found on organized stalking and gang stalking, etc., are describing it as a cultural syndrome. Okay. When I read through it, there really isn't a lot of information on it. The people who are writing about it are the people that are experiencing it. And also historically, it did happen in East Stasi, Germany. So I'm going to discuss what is organized stalking. I've got a couple of topics here. We'll see how far we go. I don't want the video to be too long for you guys. And I will have the live chat this evening at 10 p.m. Eastern for anybody who wants to join in. So I'm on the website OSA, Organized Stalking. What is organized stalking? And this is from September 2020. And I'm gearing up to somebody who's written something in 2024 because this is increasing in scope. And I did want to add also that the document that I was reading through this morning on academia.edu about, organized stalking, gang stalking, etc., the writer, the researcher, did write a note at the bottom that since she and he posted that peer-reviewed research, 3,000 new subscribers joined to follow that document. So I found that to be really interesting because generally people are not searching for a lot of this academic research. So the fact that this one particular paper had 3,000 new researchers on that particular document is telling. So organized stalking is a network of stalkers and harassers that participate in prolonged psychological and physical stalking, harassment, and torture of a person marked as a target. The target is known as a targeted individual. Organized stalking is conducted, quote unquote, covertly, i.e., not acknowledged legally or publicly by society. But the tactics and behavior of the stalkers is often blatant, as seen in a video where a town conducted a horn-honking campaign on one family. Now, this family, I remember this video from several years ago, they purchased a residence that had been vacant for a long time. The person next door actually wanted it, claiming that, something about family ties and it's in the family, but they didn't buy it. Somebody else purchased it. Sounds familiar? So there was a horn-honking campaign of this family. This is a husband and a wife that he caught on video, and he filed complaints against every person that did that. Like literally, they were retired. So this became their job, not something they wanted to do, but it did receive national, newsworthy publications. It became very well known about this family, and you could see it basically on a lot of the old news channels. People have highlighted this one particular campaign on this family because it is happening to multiple people across the country. But not everybody has the time to document this to the level that this one family did and take to court every person, including bus drivers, UPS, all of these people. Every time they drove by this family's home, they honked the horn. It's not something that doesn't happen here too, but it's not every time. It's once in a while. I mean, as you witnessed when I was walking on the county road picking up witchcraft, and debris. And the show appeared at the foot of my driveway, and the person that drove past me honked their horn. So this harassment in many cases occurs every day, and potentially throughout the whole day, or in many places that the target goes. The harassment nearly infiltrates every aspect of the TI's life. Targeted individual. For the newcomers, welcome. Put in this context, since the targeted person is more likely to die an early death, organized gang stalking can be thought of as a form of lynching. So obviously I am being surveilled. So all you criminals that are listening, lynching is outlawed. I mean, everything that you do is outlawed. But you know, when you live in corrupt societies with corrupt officials, especially in small town corruption, where everybody knows everybody, when you can't even get a veterinarian appointment if you're not friends of their friends, even though there's no way I would be friends with their friends because I'm already in my mid-60s. How would I be friends of somebody in their 30s in this community anyway? But small minds live in small communities. And to put it in context, is the targeted person is more likely to die an early death. And why? Stress is cumulative. These criminals, and that's what they are, use weapons upon the targeted person, trespass, invade the privacy. Like last night, I was inside the Katz building vacuuming, and I walked back into my house and somebody threw something stinky in my house, which is not something that they don't do. So that as soon as I walked into my house, I smelled it. They dumped a bunch of ants in my kitchen sink also. Ants don't come out at night in the dark. Then what they did is they actually opened up, this is last week, a tightly sealed jar of honey, and stuck ants in there. And then yesterday, they decided to open up a bag of flatbread and stick ants in there, along with my organic cupcakes. They stuck ants in there. There's no way that ants would get in there without being placed there. So this is another form of asset stripping, harassment, and invasion of privacy. These are Stasi, East German Stasi techniques. The KKK, yeah, it's called organized stalking. Stalking is the repeated and unwanted contact that causes the victim unreasonable apprehension regarding the personal safety of the victim or a member of the victim's immediate family or household. Harassment, the person knowingly alarms or coerces another person or member of that person's immediate family or household by engaging in repeated and unwanted contact with the other person. So now I'm going to switch to another website here. Stop Gang Stalking Awareness Group. The Dark Art of Gang Stalking, Uncovering Their Methods. This is 2023. Gang stalking, also known as group stalking or organized stalking, is a disturbing and harmful phenomenon where multiple individuals collaborate. Where'd you hear that word before, huh? You ever see that word, collaborate, on the Fusion Center website? Collaborate on every police department's mission statement. Infragard, collaborate. The FBI, collaborate. They all collaborate to target and harass an individual relentlessly. Victims of gang stalking often endure psychological and emotional distress. In this blog post, we will delve into the tactics employed by gang stalkers, shedding the light on methods such as surveillance, intimidation, online harassment, and spreading rumors, which, by the way, If you can prove that rumors are being spread. Rumor is also slander, defamation, which means that the comments are untrue, they're lies. If you can prove that in a court of law, in some states you can get treble damages, meaning 3 times the damages that have caused you distress. Understanding these tactics are essential for recognizing and combating this form of harassment. The key here is recognizing, because every targeted person I've ever spoken to, even people who have taken that survey on my community post, my main page, a couple of weeks ago, even the people that claim that they're not sure if they're being gang stalked, the ones that they definitely think that they're not being stalked, a lot of times the methods are not recognized for years. People will just sum it up as life's little, little mishaps, unfortunate things, oh, it's just a coincidence, etc. So it's essential to explore the emerging concern of neuroweapons being used in these campaigns. And for anybody who is going to dismiss this sentence, there are bona fide whistleblowers. Dr. Barry Trower worked in the Navy as a microwave specialist. That's what he did. Then you've got Dr. Bill Binney. I believe the former FBI? We've got all the FBI whistleblowers. We've got, who do we have? Brian 2, whistleblower, DARPA? Or the DOD? I forget what he... Karen Stewart, retired NSA intelligence analyst. There are patents after patents after patents. And what about that Dr. Robert Duncan? And what about the whistleblower Brian Coffrin, also known as Justin? I forget his last name. And what about Edward Snowden? Come on, guys. Oh, and what about the psychopath? I don't know if it was during a DARPA, what's his name? Dr. James Giordano. Prancing around stage with glee. How you can hack the brain. Oh, what about that other psychopath? The New World Order psychopath. What is his name? I'm forgetting his name now. Oh, Noah Harari. Okay, you could look up these names, find out for yourself. So one of their tactics employed by gang stalkers and the disturbing potential of neuroweapons is in these campaigns. Surveillance. One of the most chilling aspects of gang stalking is the invasive surveillance a victim's experience. Gang stalkers use various means to monitor the targets, including physical surveillance. Gang stalkers may follow the victim, tracking their movements and daily routines. They'll even do it after a flood, down the county creek, down the county road. Yeah, they will have no problem prancing their little vehicles through flood-infested waters. They got to get that gift card. They got to give you that snare. They got to give you the evil smirk. They may employ multiple people to maintain constant surveillance, making the victim feel constantly watched. Well, guess what? I don't know, guys. For all of you people out there that experience this, aren't you watching them too? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. We're watching them too. But unlike these losers, they're committing felony crimes, and we get to photograph, videotape, and post it online. See, if they did this, We could sue their asses from here to kingdom come, especially since we're on our own property. Electronic surveillance. Modern technology makes it easier for gang stalkers or organized harassment groups, criminals on patrol, predators on patrol, pedos on patrol, mops, morons on patrol, lops, losers on patrol. Oh, you can't forget about the wops, the witches on patrol. They may hack into the victim's devices. No, that never happens to me. Install spyware or access their online accounts to track their online activities and conversations. They use tracking devices, and in some cases, they may place a GPS tracker on your vehicle or personal belongings to keep tabs on their location. They use intimidation. It's the key of gang stalking, and it can manifest in various ways. Well, I'm going to add some of mine. So there's stalking, vandalism, harassment. Gang stalkers often engage in overt stalking, following the victim, loitering near their home or workplace, or even making direct threats, or breaking down on your property multiple times. Oh, these rural people, they just can't get their equipment to start. Oh, they ran out of gas. Oh, they just ran into the stream behind my house. Oh, it's one after the next and after the next. Oh, they ran out of gas on the county road. Oh, they have to have a conversation in front of my driveway. Oh, then there's a motorcycle gang. They just have to hang out there to harass and stalk you. Oh, but you can't forget the little old ladies. They want to follow you around and ask you about your ducks. I don't have a duck. I don't have ducks. Ducks are adorable. I have no problem with ducks. So, organized stalking is a psyop. It's it's psychological warfare, harassment, and it's a torture campaign where an individual, they're covertly, publicly acknowledged by society, surveilled and harassed by a criminal network group of stalkers and harassers. The act is considered covert because society has not publicly acknowledged it. Like even these academics who are writing research papers, they're not acknowledging it. Well, because they're paid. They get grants to write these papers. You think they're going to go against their grantors' wishes for publication? No. That doesn't happen. And then, of course, there's all the ghost writers out there. If you're still going to call them ghost writers, they'll create publications online that are patently false to discourage and discredit the real targeted people out there. So here are some other names. I just want to tell you some other names for organized stalking, just so that you have an idea of how these terminologies are basically interchangeable, because you're not going to find a legal definition for gang stalking, but there's organized gang stalking, community stalking, community policing. Oh, you'll find a lot on that. Gang stalking, spiritual warfare, organized harassment, electromagnetic torture. If you hear rain in the background, it's because it is raining again. Psychotronic torture, police stalking, government gang stalking. Okay, so I'm going to be switching back and forth from articles and articles so that you can get a full idea of all these tactics. So I'm going to fast forward here. Why do people participate in gang stalking? The individuals participating often don't grasp the entire scope of their actions or the reasons behind them. Some participants feel that they're contributing to a greater cause, while others are drawn in by the promise of rewards or a sense of belonging in community. Manipulation is a key factor here, as many who become involved due to peer pressure may not initially be willing participants. They may have once been targets themselves and are coerced to continue as collaborators. This manipulation takes advantage of human vulnerabilities such as financial needs, social pressures, personal beliefs, making it easier to recruit new members for these harassment activities. I can tell you for a fact that Mary and Scarlett are getting off on it. They are dripping wet with their smirky narcissist grins, nasty faces, while they harass me. So let me just go back to now this one. They'll also be intimidating. Victims find that their property is damaged or vandalized, which can be terrifying reminder that they're being targeted. Gang stalkers may engage in verbal harassment, making offensive comments or threats in person or through anonymous phone calls. Or how about text messages? How about stalking your social media, stalking your Facebook page, stalking your TikTok? The online harassment. With the proliferation of social media and online platforms, gang stalkers have found new avenues to target their victims. Now, these tactics did not exist back in Stasi Germany. They did not have the technology back then for this form of surveillance and harassment. So the cyberbullying is they create fake profiles. They use anonymous accounts to send harassing messages, post defamatory content, share private information about the victims online. They'll dox you. Gang stalkers research and expose the victim's personal information, such as their home address, phone number, or workplace, putting the victim's safety at risk. Oh yeah, how about that gorilla stalker guy? For a whole year, did that shit. Hacking. In extreme cases, they hack into the victim's email, social media accounts, and even personal devices to gain access to their private information and messages, like stealing a business card of the landscaper on my laptop. How about opening up the mail to my land survey and stealing the check? How about getting the address, the home address of my witness to the pulling out of my newly installed gate on my legally surveyed property, and having your neighbor drive 40 minutes to write a handwritten threatening letter and leave it in my witness's mailbox. It just happened to be the same handwriting that appeared on all those ridiculous index cards posted on my legally surveyed property by none other than Mary, quite contrary. She should focus on her garden, getting her garden to grow, because the destruction of my gardens is not going to produce anything to feed this community when the shit really hits the fan, and their gift cards will not be forthcoming. And like my subscriber said, he's almost looking forward to World War III, because all of these losers, they will lose all of their income, and half of these guys around here, they'll be sent to fight the war. And I'll have no problem reporting them if they don't. Just saying. Electromagnetic weapons. Some group stalkers use electromagnetic weapons, such as directed energy weapons, to target victims. These weapons can induce sensations of pain, discomfort, or even cognitive functioning. Psychotronic weapons can impact a person's mental and emotional state. They can induce anxiety, depression, hallucinations, and make the victim question their sanity. Non-lethal acoustic weapons. These can produce extremely loud or disorienting sounds, causing psychological distress and physical discomfort. And they do this to my animals in their building. And this is all recorded, by the way, and have been forensically analyzed. Gang stalking is a sinister form of harassment that can leave victims traumatized and isolated. While traditional tactics like surveillance, intimidation, online harassment, spreading rumors are well known, the use of neuroweapons in these campaigns is an alarming development. Now, this was not going on during Stasi Germany, so they have amped it up tenfold. Recognizing these tactics is crucial for raising awareness and providing support to victims. If you or someone you know is a victim of gang stalking, seeking help from law enforcement and support organizations actually is not going to work for you. However, If you do have home break-ins that you can prove with surveillance footage, I do recommend filing an incident report with local law enforcement. It holds them accountable. And there are support organizations out there that you can report them to. While they may not assist you, you will also leave a paper trail. So some other tactics that they use, obviously, is they bright you. They turn their headlights on to sensitize and harass the targeted person. Gaslighting, it's a form of manipulation that's intended to make the targeted individual or population doubt or question their own memory, perception, or sanity. Lawyers are widely known to use gaslighting techniques to destabilize the target and delegitimize the target's beliefs and any claims of being targeted. Gaslighting can include persistent denial by the perpetrator, misdirection, contradiction statements, and lying. Then they lie in wait. They lie in ambush, lying hidden or concealed for the purpose of making a sudden or unexpected attack upon a person when he arrives at a scene. If a person conceals himself for the purpose of shooting another unaware, he's lying in wait. But a person may, while concealed, shoot another without committing the crime of unaliving. There's mimicry. The copycats. The action or art of treatment of imitating someone or something. The perpetrators repeat or copy something that the targeted individual said or did recently or in the past to harass the targeted person. A mimicry, by the way, is a form of mockery. The noise campaign's orchestrated effort to produce stress in a targeted person through prolonged exposure to significant noise levels. It could be from multiple neighbors routinely playing loud music, the stalkers with air horns, fireworks, like IEDs thrown on your driveway, repair work that involves a high level of noise. Sensitizing acts of behavior by the stalkers to cause an individual or somebody or something close to respond or notice a certain stimuli. Street theater, that is the skit show. They're carefully scripted harassment by neighbors and strangers, but it can include harassment by family, friends, and coworkers. These skits are performed or intended so that only the targeted person notices them and to keep targeted people at a high stress level. These acts can include excessive or specific noise, crowding of personal space, driving in traffic, especially the highway, stolen items from shopping carts while shopping, and even kids are sent to annoy, harass, and catch a targeted individual's attention. Traffic mobbing using bikes, pedestrians, cars to harass a targeted person between one destination or another. So what are the potential reasons for organized stalking? They want to kill the person, individual, by suicide or other means. They want to drive the targeted person crazy, insane, ruin the targeted individual's life socially, economically, reduce the quality of life, population control, leech from a target for their benefit. Like they sold more than $7,000 of items from my house last year, new items. And they're also trying to steal my property by depreciating the value so that one of their losers can swoop in when I've had enough and buy it at a dirt price. But I've already been through this shit show, and that's not going to happen. And you can keep vandalizing it. I will be hiring somebody and getting a quote. And you all, like I said, my property does not sell for what I want it. You will all be sued. Attempts to control a targeted individual for some reason by intimidation, pestering, leech. If a target is a threat to some hidden agenda in some way, they may want to harass the target so the target becomes antisocial and not a threat. I don't know, guys. The only people that are threats are these losers. They're the ones that are committing misdemeanors and felonies. Stalking is a crime in every state. Perception. Organized stalkers may want the targeted individuals to suffer deep torment or depression in a similar way to the organized stalker has or does suffer. Oh, the poor little babies. The poor little narcissists. They're miserable, so they want to make your life miserable. They hate their lives. They want you to hate your life. Oh, supernatural ability. That's an alternative motive. Organized stalkers may have supernatural abilities that regular humans don't have. No. It's not supernatural, guys. It's called demonic. These people are mind controlled. They're low class, white trash. They're being mind controlled. They don't even know it. They are envious and jealous. You could see it all over their faces. There are no normal people, I'm going to use that word, normal people, that derive pleasure from tormenting another person. That is not a normal, empathic human. People that derive pleasure, sadistic pleasure, the sadistic personality, the narcissist, the psychopath, derive pleasure from harassing another person. An online psychologist terms the phrase persistent predatory personality. So I have created a video on the sadistic personality disorder. This individual has coined a term, persistent predatory personality disorder, PPP. Persistent, meaning it's ongoing. It's not once. It's over and over and over again. Predatory. These are predators. They prey against people that they isolate. They prey upon you by creating slander and defamation in the community, like with the local veterinarian. Or how about my landscaper? Or how about my neighbor Mary, caught on film, harassing teenagers working on my property? If you continue to clean her property, you too will be part of our lawsuit. Oh, really? You threaten everybody that works on my property because you have an agenda. If you wanted my property, you all should have bought it when it was for sale. But as Ross Murray told me in his office, everybody thought it was too expensive. Well, if you thought it was too expensive then, you're not going to be able to buy it now. And I have documented proof of vandalism. And hey, Sheriff, if you don't want to photograph the vandalism, that's your karma. Your karma. Your Carmageddon. I'm photographing it. I'm documenting it. And it's all online for everybody to see that you're not doing your job. The perpetrators of organized stalking and harassment include everyday citizens. It could be the cashier at a gas station, celebrities, yes, government officials, check mark, including law enforcement and politicians, check mark. The stalking harassment occurs in the community where the target lives or often travels. So many organized stalkers live in the same community as a target. However, organized stalkers often complete strangers to the person are stalking and harassing. Organized stalkers will frequently masquerade as normal citizens or a community watch group. Who's watching the community watch groups? Though there are many criminals within the organized stalking network, they're all criminals in violation of U.S. federal and state laws. Not all who participate are aware that they're committing crimes. Some may not even know the true purpose of the stalking harassment. Well, I disagree with that here. I believe that everybody that's harassing me that has made themselves known absolutely know Absolutely no. They've been doing it since the day I moved here, when I knew nobody. Recruiters of organized stalking are believed to use lies to recruit uninvolved people, such that the targeted person has committed some heinous act, should be placed under persistent surveillance. And a notable case where this occurred is the U.S. versus Matsowicz. I will. Okay. Now, another tactic that is utilized in these organized gang stalking groups is blackmail. Blackmail is used as a coercive tool to manipulate people into isolating or disassociating from a targeted individual. This tactic is frequently employed in situations of social, professional, or community-based ostracization. The perpetrators use both explicit and implicit threats, sometimes combined with bribery, to ensure compliance. And here's how they do it. What they do is they drive down the county road 5 times past my teenage workers and threaten them that if they continue to clean my property, they will be part of her lawsuit. Good luck, jerk off. Tactics used in blackmail. The threat of exposure, revealing damaging or embarrassing personal information, whether it's true, exaggerated, or completely false. For example, if you keep talking to them, I might have to let everybody know that thing you did in college. Or how about, if you continue to clean her property, you will be part of our lawsuit. Or how about telling Noble Landworks that if you are not allowed to clean that portion of her property, but if you go in the back of her property and create a walkway for us to get from this property to the next, we'll get you off the hook. We'll even pay you a little bit on the side. Professional financial consequences. They threaten job loss, demotions, or business consequences for associating with the target. For example, if you stay in contact with them, don't expect that promotion. Social reputation destruction, spreading rumors or lies or half-truths to isolate both the target and those who associate with them. Like suddenly my landscaper, after almost 2 years, is like, oh, well, we're not cutting this year. Really? When were you going to tell me? Did you tell all of your other clients? No comment, no response back. For example, people will start wondering why you're still friends with them after what I tell them. Doesn't this sound like little teenager, junior high school stuff? Legal or bureaucratic threats, implied or direct, of legal action, false reports, or involvement with law enforcement agencies. If, for example, you really don't want a complaint filed against you, do you? Like, if you continue to clean her property, you'll be part of our lawsuit. Guilt and manipulation, making the person feel morally obligated to comply by presenting the target as someone who is dangerous, immoral, or trustworthy. For example, you're better than them. Don't let them drag you down. Bribery and incentives, offering financial rewards, job opportunities, or social benefits in exchange for cooperation. For example, stick with us and you'll have nothing to worry about. We take care of our own, like with Noble Landworks. Or how about my former landscaper? Surveillance and intimidation, letting the person know they're being watched, monitored, or followed. For example, we know who you talk to, and it's not going to look good. Fear of association, convincing someone that being seen with a target will ruin their reputation or put them in danger. For example, if you're around them, people will assume you're just like them. Is this absurd? This sounds like junior high school. I wouldn't believe any of this. If anybody approached me with this stuff, I would just shrug my shoulders. So what do you need to do here? If you experience this, whether you believe that you're not targeted, whether you believe that you may be targeted, whether you know for a fact that you're targeted. Exposure and documentation. Blackmail and coercion rely on secrecy. Exposing their tactics can neutralize their power. Document everything. Keep records and conversations, emails, messages, interactions. Record the threats if it's legal in your state. If someone threatens you, having proof protects you. Publicize the patterns of behavior. If multiple people are experiencing the same threats, collective exposure can dismantle the coercive efforts. Refuse to engage in these fear-based narratives. Why it works. Blackmailers use psychological manipulation to instill fear. Refusing to play along weakens their influence. Stay calm and neutral. Don't react emotionally. Refuse to acknowledge false premises. Listen, you know who you are. If they're going to spread lies and slander about you, that's their problem. Most of the time when people are lying and slandering you, they won't remember exactly what they said. Which is why when you drag their sorry asses into a court, they will not remember everything that they said. Because lie after lie after lie, it's just a cover-up. Ask for direct evidence. Demand proof of any accusations. So if you're approached to participate and somebody asks you to participate because of all the reasons I stated above, ask them for a proof. And if somebody flashes a plastic badge, ask them for a business card. Ask them what jurisdiction they work. Ask them how long they've worked there. Who do they report to? Some of these people are just infraguard operatives. They're nobodies. The fake badges, it's already been proven. I've got a video on how some of these sheriff's departments pass out fake badges. For example, I don't base my relationships on rumors. If you have solid evidence, I'd be happy to look at it, but I won't make decisions based upon gossip. Strengthen your support network. Isolating individuals is their tactic in coercion, and it's a tool of a narcissist. If you build strong relationships, you become harder to manipulate. Find allies. If you notice multiple people being pressured, stick together. Have open discussions. Let others know about the coercion effort so they can recognize the manipulation. Seek out trustworthy figures, mentors, legal professionals, or community leaders can provide protection and credibility. For example, I've spoken with others, and it seems this is happening to more people. Maybe we should address it together. Set clear boundaries and consequences. Many coercers push just to see how much they can get away with. Making it clear that you won't comply can deter further attempts. Oh, it hasn't happened here. State your position firmly. Make it known that you won't be pressured. Give a warning. Let them know that there will be consequences for their actions. And follow through. If they escalate, take legal and professional steps. For example, I don't respond to manipulation, and if this continues, I will report it. So you can send them cease and desist letters so you've got documented proof. Use legal and professional resources. Consult a lawyer. If blackmail or coercion is involved, legal guidance is crucial. Report workplace coercion. Contact law enforcement if necessary. For example, this crosses a legal boundary. I will seek legal advice and take action if needed. Counter bribery with integrity and self-reliance. Know your worth. Don't let financial or social incentives dictate your choices. Call out bribery when it's obvious. Sometimes exposing the tactic is enough to stop it. Cultivate independence. If possible, avoid reliance on those using manipulation tactics. Disrupt surveillance and intimidation attempts. Someone is trying to monitor or intimidate you. Pushing back can make them back off. Change your routine. Avoid predictable behavior. Makes you an easy target. Increase security. Difficult when you've got professional hackers here. Make it known that you're aware. Letting them know that you recognize their tactics can deter them. Stay in control of your own narrative. Be open about your past. If somebody wants to threaten to expose something, get ahead of it. Oh yeah, they called me a skinny little whore in New Jersey. My neighbor let the cat out of the bag. Yeah, that's what happens when you're the first divorced woman on the block and everybody else is married. Yeah, you know, the men don't want you around their wives because you might give them a good idea to divorce their asses. And the women don't you want their husbands thinking that you're going to steal them, like you want anything to do with their husbands. For example, if anyone has questions about me, they can ask me directly. I've got nothing to hide. Coercion, blackmail, and bribery thrive in secrecy, fear, and dependence. Stay informed, standing firm, and building strong support systems. You can neutralize these manipulative tactics. So I'm going to sign off on that note. We discussed the dark side of gang stalking, uncovering their methods, how gang stalking works, the tracking and harassment methods, and blackmail and coercive techniques. I look forward to questions and comments down below. If there is something that I missed, please let me know in the comments section, and perhaps we can explore that. Reminder that we will have the chat at approximately 10 p.m. Eastern Time this evening. If I'm a few minutes late, just know that I've got stuff going on here. What I'll probably do is I might just open up the chat so that you can talk amongst them yourselves. Maybe I'll have some music playing in the background and we'll go from there.